At Ketamint, super fun, super cool. A barrel of monkeys. And the other one was don't cry over spilt milk. That was another figurative language. So today we're going to be doing something a little bit different, but it kind of all goes together and makes us better readers, okay? Readers with grit. So I drive a lot. I drive to work every day to see you guys. I drive home. Sometimes I drive to by Chicago to see my parents. Sometimes I drive to by St. Louis to see my friends. So I'm used to seeing highway signs that tell me how to travel. Yellow lights. That means what? Slow down, it's about to turn red. Green lights, stop signs, sign indicating that there's a curve ahead, speed limit signs, okay? I see all these signs. So what our work together with reading has made me realize and made me aware that text, so the books we read, like highways, have signs that tell people how to travel. So books that you're reading tell you how to read, right? And that expert fiction readers read with their brains turned on high. They read with that grit. Remember that determination to notice those signs. So we've talked about how sometimes these texts gets readers to envision, to live in the world of the story. So that happens to us. I know that's how I read. I love to pretend I'm just like a fly on the wall in the story and I'm seeing everything happening in the story. So maybe the character is creeping up quietly to the door and peering through the crack, and the readers creep right along with the characters and lean down to put their own eyes to the crack. Sometimes that moving image comes to a halt, just stops. And the reader knows that the author wants them to fill them in on important information. So they shift gears and they start listening to facts about the story. Remember that? Remember that day we were either making movies in our head or we'd halt and we'd go back to making lists about the story, facts about the story. Sometimes, though, the text signals, uh-oh, something's going to happen, and readers predict. So today I want to remind you guys that texts don't signal only for readers to envision or list or predict what's going to happen, but text also signals readers to think, huh? And to ask questions. Often those questions are, what? Why did that happen? How could that happen? And then you guys muse over, so you think about possible answers. You might read the book and you guys think, okay? So we're going to talk about, guess what? We're going to go back to Stone Fox, okay? So we're going to revisit a passage in Stone Fox. You guys just have to listen. And this passage, I think it's going to make us go, huh? And this is the part when little Willie is trying to decide whether to sell the farm or attempt to save it. So this is pretty early on in the story, right? So as I'm reading this, pay attention to how you react to the text. Pay attention to how you react to the text, okay? I want you guys to do that. It's the only thing I need you to do. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and read, okay? The next day, little Willie talked to everybody he could think of. He talked with his teacher, Miss Williams. He talked with Lester at the general store. He even talked with Hank, who swept over the post office. They all agreed, sell the farm. That was the only answer. There was only one person left to talk to. If he only could. Should we sell? Little Willie asked. Palm up meant yes, palm down meant no. Grandfather's hand lay motionless on the bed. Searchlight barked. Grandfather's fingers twitched, but all things looked hopeless. So, are you guys thinking right now, huh? How could grandfather let little Willie's only family not even signal with his hands to help little Willie answer the question? How could grandfather just ignore little Willie when so much is at stake? Remember, they might lose the farm. This is early in the story after they got told that they owe $500. So when his grandson needs him more than ever, why doesn't grandfather give little Willie, who has the weight of this huge burden, remember, he's only 10 years old, on his shoulders some guidance? He doesn't give him any guidance. So we're all thinking that. So we're going to spend a little time thinking about this question, okay, and see if we could come up with some possible answers. So watch how I do this, okay? So first thing I'm realizing is that there aren't easy answers. We don't know much about grandfather, do we? Basically, he's been laying in bed this whole time, not talking this whole time, since the whole book. He hasn't said a word yet, and he's not barely moving. The only thing he could do is go up, down, up, down. This is one of those times, though, when it helps to go back into the story. The answer doesn't only lie in this part of the text in grandfather's twitching fingers, though. That gives us a little to go on, okay? So grandfather isn't ignoring Willie, right? He's just not giving him an answer. He's acknowledging that Willie is asking him something. He's just not giving him an answer. Yes, Leah, you can go ahead, go to the restroom. So I want to understand, though, how could he react this way? We need to go a little bit deeper. Remember, we need to dig a little deeper, use some of their grit. What do we know about grandfather? All right, so I'm going to go back in the book and I'm going to read a little bit, okay? So in the first chapter, guys, think back. Close your eyes real quick. Think back to that first chapter of Stone Fox. Doc Smith says grandfather has given up on life. He wants to die, but he's been signaling to little Willie to help him out up until now. Might this be a sign that he's finally given up? Or might there be another reason Grandpa isn't responding? We know that he loves little Willie. He took him in when little Willie's mother died. Yes, Grandpa's depressed and he owes a lot of taxes, but would he really abandon his grandson? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think he would. So I have an idea. Let's look at another time when little Willie asked grandfather to signal and answer with his hand. Maybe we could find something there. Okay, so let me flip through to try and find a good part. Okay, all right, everyone listen. Eyes, ears open, okay? Here's one. Okay, so ready? I'm reading part of the book now. And then little Willie remembered something. His college money. He had enough to rent a horse, pay for help, everything. He told grandfather about his plan, but grandfather signaled, no, 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 no. Willie pleaded with him, but grandpa just repeated, remember, palm down means no, no, no. So let's think about that, okay? Let's think about that. So now that doesn't really sound like a person who's given up, right? That's a powerful no. He just didn't go. He went, he's saying no, 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 no. So it seems he's determined as his grandson, right? Might it be that grandfather just doesn't have an answer? Think about it. He can only answer yes or no. What if his answer isn't yes or no? He just doesn't know, right? I mean, sometimes that happens. Sometimes we don't have a straight answer for things. So maybe twitching his finger is his way of showing that. Maybe he's hoping little Willie can figure out this one on his own. Maybe he even trusts Willie to find out the right answer. Think about that. So let's keep going though. So do you guys see how I ask questions when the text told me to do so? It signaled me to do so, just like those signs when I'm driving signal me, like they signal your parents or who say you're in a car with someone, they run into a red light, they know to stop. So just how all those street signs signal us as drivers, you guys are getting signals in your text, in your books. So then I revisited earlier parts of the text, we just did that now, that seemed to be connected to that question I had. And I used my grit to do some more thinking about grandfather and what might explain his surprising reaction to little Willie, right? So asking questions, looking back in the book, these are all things that we can do. So if I had just stayed in this one moment, I may not have thought deeply enough. When the text signals you to ask questions, it helps to go back, think about what you read earlier, and to think. Sometimes it's okay to just stop reading and just think, all right, what happened? How does this relate to something I did earlier, okay? So as we go off and read today on our own, I know that you'll be open to asking questions about your text, okay? So from now on, whenever you guys read, which we read a lot in this class, don't we? Hold on to that curiosity, okay? Sometimes your book's gonna make you go, what? Huh? What just happened? And you may reach a part that does expect a question. It's gonna expect you to question it. The author does that on purpose. The author wants you to really think, be in that high brain mode, okay? So you may instead find yourself envisioning or listing facts or predicting what's going to happen next, or it might be a combination of all these things. So often the text expects readers to do a lot of these kind of work. So whatever you find yourself doing as you read, take note of this, and then if you guys have a piece of paper, a scrap sheet of paper, a Post-it note, write it down. Write down these questions you have, okay? Spy on yourself as a reader, okay? And admire the ways in which your grit, remember that determination allows you to grow as readers, okay?